another thing that they previewed for us, this is something that you can expect. So the Michael Jordan and LeBron debate, I guess it was fun at the beginning. It's not so fun right now. It's, for a couple of reasons. One, LeBron James' career is almost over, and for most of us, a lot of players and a lot of media, they don't feel like as a player LeBron got on the level of Michael Jordan. And I think LeBron feels like that too. I think LeBron knows what his weaknesses are, and no one knows what Michael Jordan's weaknesses are because he didn't have many. So I think at some point LeBron realized, I can't make myself as good of a basketball player as Michael, but I can stick around long enough to get Kareem's scoring title. I can manipulate and orchestrate franchises and teams to get players that's going to help me get another ring. And I can, climb the all-time record books in points, rebounds, and assists. And if that's all said and done, if I'm able to get one more ring and get 5, I get 5 rings, and I'm number 1 in scoring and top 5 in assists and top 5 in rebounds. Like if he's able to do that on paper, if you have the argument on paper, how can you argue against LeBron James on paper? If you have this argument on paper, maybe 10, 15 years from now, some kid that never even seen LeBron play, like for instance, when people have the conversation about triple doubles and they mention Oscar, I wasn't alive. Well, I wasn't watching Oscar from the beginning of his career to his end. I didn't see none of Oscar. I only seen highlights, right? A couple of highlights at that. So I don't know the bad stuff about Oscar's game. All I know is he averaged a triple double, and that's a cool thing, right? It's not a thing that everyone can do, right? So he averaged one. He's missed a triple double, but we don't know the weaknesses in this game. We don't know his failures that easy unless we search for them and Google them. And not many people is going to try to Google and try to find out what he failed at. But when you've lived and watched a player's career from start to finish, you know the whole story. You know where he's weak at. You know where he's strong at, all that stuff. So we know LeBron's weaknesses. We know Jordan's weakness, Kobe's weaknesses, and all their strengths and stuff like that. So a person my age who watched the beginning of Kobe's career, the beginning of LeBron's career, and most of Jordan's career, like his beginning, I was real young when he started, but I'm still able to go back and watch those games. So I can say I've seen the beginning and the end of Michael Jordan's career. So I know what they're good at. I know what they're weak at. I say that to say this, right? You can't do that for Oscar. So I can't make a judgment on Oscar. So down the line, 10 years, 15 years, some kid is going to be like, I know about LeBron. I heard about him. He was great. I know about Kobe. I know about Jordan. Never seen none of them play. Never seen. You can YouTube some stuff, but you're not going to be able to relive that. You're not going to be able to watch him play 82 games in the season and see where his highs and lows was at, and like you're not going to be able to see that. That's the nuances of it, right? But they can look in that record book and say, man, this dude number 1 in scoring, 5 rings if he get another one. I would say 4 rings, number 1 in scoring, 5 in rebounds, 5 in assists. They'll be like, man, this guy, he's got to be the greatest, right? That's how LeBron's trying to win this conversation, right? So, but those of us that know better just know that that's not gonna fly. We can look at your game, and you didn't make your strengths, or you didn't make your weaknesses disappear. You're gonna retire with those same weaknesses. You can't shoot free throws. Your footwork's not that good. Your shot mechanics is very bad and robotic. You don't have a post game. You don't have an off ball game, and you stopped playing defense 5-6 years ago, right? It's just a whole bunch of holes in his game that a player like Kobe or Mike didn't have, right? So that debate's been over for a long time for a lot of us, right? They're gonna reheat this debate up. Like no one's been talking, not even Nick Wright has been talking about this. And the reason why is because when you have a co-host that you've been arguing this debate with for 4 years, that horse is dead, and there's no reason to beat it and continue to beat it. That's why the debate is old, right? But here these dudes, they just not getting together, and guess what's gonna happen? They get to bring this debate back up. As a matter of fact, I think Keyshawn and Skip had this argument this week on the show on their Undisputed. And I'm like, man, so they just go switch co-stars or co-hosts and say, all right, we can do this debate again because now you got a different argument, you're a different voice. We can reheat this cold take, right? And the reason why they doing it because this is a debate that gets a lot of people talking and conversing. Like this is a moneymaker debate. So just based on business, they can't let this debate die. They have to revive it. They can't let this debate die, right? And I'm gonna explain to you right. I'm gonna give you an example. I got a real good friend I grew up with, and I remember being in high school, and I think I wore a jacket of his one day, and I had wrote down. This was back before we was Googling and printing out lyrics to songs where you really had to put the tape in and let it play and write the lyrics down if you want, so I was I had my sister had wrote down the lyrics to Sade's Love Is a Gun, right? And my homeboy used to write poems to girls or whatnot, right? So somehow that sheet of paper was in the jacket when I gave it back to him, and he checked the pocket and was like, what's this? And he opened it and started reading it, Love Is a Gun or whatnot, right? And then he took off running. We was in the neighborhood. He took off running to go find the other fellas that tell them that I had wrote this poem, right? But when we got around the whole crowd, he told them that I wrote the poem. I knew it was a Sade song. I knew that because I had 3 older sisters who listened to Sade. They didn't have any sisters, so they didn't even know about Sade back then, right? I knew it was a Sade song. He tried to tell everybody I wrote it as a poem, but he's the only one that writes poems, right? So it backfired, and I told them, nah, he the one who wrote it, and everybody believed me. We kept that lie going. I knew it was a Sade song, but I never told nobody. We argued about that every time we all got together in a group. We argued about Love Is a Gun, Love Is a Gun, who wrote it. The whole time I'm knowing is a Sade lyric. Once we got older, I think I finally admitted and told him, I said, that's a Sade song. He was like, for real? And then we laughed about it. But guess what? We still pretend like we don't know it's Sade. So every time we get around, we argue about it. And we all know it's a Sade song, and we still argue about it because it's the funniest argument and debate that we have in our crew. We still argue about who wrote Love Is a Gun. And we know it's a lie. We know nobody wrote it, but it's just funny. That's how the Jordan and LeBron debate is. Everyone know Jordan is better. But for business reasons, we have to keep arguing it because one, LeBron was carrying the league at that time. He was carrying the NBA. So it's beneficial for everyone to prop him up. For number two, if you have a TV show, it's instant ratings. You have to do this at least once or twice a year, especially if LeBron reach a milestone. Now we got to debate it again, right? And this is a debate amongst people who supposedly got their mind made up, who you've already debated on this topic before, and ain't nobody changing their mind, and you keep doing it. It's the most ridiculous thing, man. But yeah, that's basically what they did on the show, man. They as a matter of fact, I'll play what they said.
Of James Bond is where
the
it comes in,
James.
and you could say that, but at the
could
end
guard 1 through 5. You seen him do it.
I'm not denying that.
Shut down Tony Parker on one end. In the last 5 minutes, say I got Timmy D.
I also saw him get checked when Jason Terry was guarding him in the post in the finals against Dallas. You going to deny that?
No.
Okay, then.
So
let me ask you a question. Has there ever been a time when Michael Jordan showed up in an NBA Finals and you literally looked at him and said, yo, he ain't show up?
He didn't play nobody.
Come on.
Let me ask you a question. I'm going to do it like this here.
Sure.
Tell me the guy that he faced that was the equivalent of Kevin Durant in an NBA Finals.
Michael Jordan. Well, I
or Steph Curry.
I wouldn't say the equivalent of Kevin Durant, but let's go down the list. He beat Magic for his first title.
Magic was 73.
Okay, I find you. I'm going down the list. Going down the list. I didn't hear you say that when Magic was here, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later.
You know Magic.
You didn't say that when Magic was here.
But here,
you didn't tell him that.
The man that gone to nine finals in 10 years.
I feel you on that. And by the way, he took Vlade Divac and those guys.
Yes.
It wasn't Kareem and Worthy and them.
But you saw what he did to Jordan in the first game, right?
Allow me.
Put a triple-double on it. They had to put Scottie Pippen on it.
That's cool.
Okay, I ain't going to say he backed him. Made it look like Kareem and Caldwell Jones. Okay, go ahead.
That's fair. Magic Johnson the first title, Clyde Drexler and the crew the second title, Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson. Don't ignore that. Dan Marley and them the third title.
Good
okay. Peyton, the glove with Sean Kemp before he became
That's
Sean
one
Kemp.
Hall of Famer.
And then also you've got Karl Malone, John Stockton.
Yes.
And you have an NBA game that was considerably tougher at that particular moment in time than today's NBA game is in terms of physicality and what's allowed.
Yes.
So you can appreciate this.
Yes.
You can appreciate that.
But see,
when you can put your forearm on people, when you can hand check them, when you can do a lot of things you can't do now. Right now you get called for passing gas.
True, you will. But
it's a different game now.
But here's the thing, Stephen.
Okay.
What you and the old school guard have equated physicality with talent and skill. The guys in today's game are more skilled.
I totally agree with that. Okay. I totally agree with that. But you would know this better than me because you were an all-world player. Even though the game of the NFL has evolved significantly, you know good and damn well that if you were playing in this time, you would have adapted.
Yes.
You played in that time, you adapted.
Yeah.
The game in the 60s and 70s, you would have adapted to those times. So what I'm trying to say to you is this. Michael Jordan was what he needed to be. If he was playing today, he would be what he needed to be in order to be successful today. That's all I'm trying to say. When you see greatness on that level, you have to concede that that's the case.
But see, all they asked Michael to do was to cook. LeBron had to cook, he had to clean, he had to wait tables, he had to take orders.
Well, you could say that, but what I'm saying is if the brother's doing it on both sides of the floor, then obviously he's doing more than one thing.
He's doing that too. But
why is he doing more than one thing?
How many guys you know that are top 5 scorers and top 5 assists?
How about this? How about when Shaquille O'Neal with Penny Hardaway, Nick Anderson, 3D, Dennis Scott, and those boys were on Orlando, right?
Yeah.
How about the fact that they couldn't even get the ball past half court because Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan had them on lock?
Yeah, with Ron Harper.
Full court press. We ain't never seen LeBron do that. We never seen LeBron do that.
LeBron do that.
You know.
So this is what y'all got to look forward to when Skip or when Shannon gets on Stephen A. Smith's show. They're gonna have that conversation about the GOAT, and that conversation went on for about 15 minutes. They talked a long time about Michael Jordan and LeBron James. But so that's what you got to look forward to. They didn't do it so much on this year, as you know, not too much GOAT debate this year, because there was no new stuff to kind of spark the debate up again, right? I mean, of course, when he broke the scoring title and he passed Kareem, then they had the conversation, but it's done died down. So I guess look forward to it to pick back up this season, because now you got new faces sitting across from each other who can have fresh new responses to people's argument. But he said some things I kind of want to address before I end this video. He said some stuff about LeBron having to cook, set the table, serve, do all this stuff, and words mean things. And when he say LeBron had to do that, as if like he showed up to a team and was like, man, this team don't have a point guard at all. You get what I'm saying? He didn't have to do it, right? And my opinion, when you have to do something, is like when Magic showed up to the Lakers and they're in the championship game and Kareem almost break his ankle. Like he twisted his ankle real bad. He couldn't go anymore. You just lost your starting center. And I think they cut Haywood earlier that season, who was their backup, so they didn't have a center. And here you got 6'9" Magic Johnson, who's your point guard, who you throw in at center. That's impressive because you had to do it. Like, you didn't have a center, you had to go play center. As far as LeBron being the primary scorer and the primary assist guy for his team, he didn't have to do it. He did it because, you know, he was good at it, and why not? He didn't do it out of a lack because there was no point guard on the team. For the most part, whenever there's a point guard on LeBron's team, they have to move to the side and play the 2 guard or play off guard. They'll be labeled as the point guard on paper, but in practice and in practicality, LeBron is actually setting the table for everybody. So that point guard really needs to have a strong shooting ability, and which when he was in Cleveland, Mo Williams did. Boobie Gibson off the bench did. When Delonte West was there, he was good at catch and shoot as well. Who else was their point guard? Can't remember all the point guards they had in Cleveland, but then of course when he went to Miami, Mario Chalmers also was a good catch and shoot 3-point shooter. So that's how it was. But those guys also was real point guards. Like Mario Chalmers played real point guard at Kansas, right? He could have been a actual point guard. So could Mo Williams, right? Maybe not Boobie Gibson, but those point guards, they could have actually played point guard, and LeBron could have just played his position. But no, even when Rondo came to the Lakers, he had to be a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, and LeBron was handling the ball. Actually, LeBron was labeled as the point guard that year in 2020, right? So that's what he does, not because he has to. Like, who has to play the point when you're on a team with Rondo? He's the ultimate point guard who's really not looking for a shot. And you make that guy move to the side. Same thing with James Harden in Houston. You get a pure point guard like CP3 and you make him go off the ball. Same thing with Kyrie Irving in Dallas. Luka, if you still want to take 30 shots, give Kyrie the point guard. You still go be the point guard and you taking 30 shots, and you go move Kyrie to the 2 guard. Like, you want 6 foot Kyrie to play 2, all because you want Luka 6'8" to play the point. Well, you could actually have a better lineup of Kyrie at the point, actual real 2 guard at the 2, and Luka at the 3. Like, you could have a real good chance, but you want your best player who's going to take all the shots to also be the guy that's setting the table for everybody. Don't even make sense, but that's LeBron, right? So when Shannon say he had to do it, that's false. He didn't have to do it. He did it because he wanted control over everything. That's what best players are doing now. The best players are saying, hey, look, I got skills with the basketball as well, so you might as well let me be the point guard. And I get to decide when I want to take a shot and when I want to pass the ball. Everybody else is just orbiting around me like I'm the sun, and I dictate everything. I dictate how many shots you get tonight, how many shots you get tonight. I dictate when you get the ball and everything. And if I don't feel like passing it, I'm just gonna keep it. And there's nothing you can do about it, because all the way, not the coaching level, not the GM level, all the way to the owner level, Mark Cuban is saying, that's the guy I want to be my point guard. That's how I want you to run the offense, for whatever reason. It ain't basketball reasons though, right? So I just push back a little bit when I always hear people say LeBron had to do this, he had to do that. No, he didn't. He could have let his real point guards be point guards, and if he was gonna take 30 shots a game, then all right, get off the ball. Like, it don't make sense for the guy that's going to be taking all the shots to be the one that's setting the offense up. Just like it don't make sense for the receiver that's going to catch all the balls to also be the quarterback. That only makes sense. I'm gonna get on the center, hike it, I'm gonna throw it, and I'm gonna go run it down and catch it myself. I'm gonna do everything. Nah, that ain't how you do it. Let people who are naturally good at setting the table, and LeBron is naturally good at setting the table, but you got to choose one. Right. And that's why LeBron needs so much talent on his teams to win, because that way of playing is so handicapped. You almost need a super team. You need a super team or almost a super team to win with that play style. And that's why Harden struggles so much in the playoffs, and Luka will too. But LeBron was able to do it because LeBron was able to put together super teams, and press LeBron is a whole different animal from Harden and Luka. So but yeah, look forward to that. That's gonna be done a lot on that show.